Welcome back to Business on City News 570, powered by Cowan Insurance. And as God would have it, we are joined by Karen Williamson. She's a benefits consultant with the National Benefits Team at Cowan Insurance Group. And Gregory, we always like having Karen with us. She's a smiling face, unlike your grumpy demeanor that you usually bring to the table. But Karen's here. We were on not too long ago talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how that can be brought into, or the ways that your benefit program can help your company demonstrate that it's the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion in your company. And so we thought we'd have her back to kind of look at a couple of those areas and some examples, because it's always the most important thing is, if you want to get started on things, getting started is the hard part. So lots will flow from that.
Yeah. So Karen, great to have you. Thanks for coming back and sharing with us.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Ian. Happy to be back. And as always, appreciate the warm introduction.
Good. Let's start breaking it down now. We talked about the last time when we had you on, we talked about kind of the overarching diversity, equity, inclusion, and then your benefits package and how it kind of relates to your corporate culture. Let's start breaking it down, and let's just go right in order. Let's start with diversity first.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah. So there's, as Ian said, sometimes getting started is the hardest part. So always recommend connect with a benefits advisor, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to Cowan or myself. But there's often a lot of really simple things you can do to get started that might not even require any investment. It might just take a little bit of time. And the first thing I usually recommend doing is taking a look at the definitions within your contract and taking a look at eligibility. So diversity, supporting diversity within your benefit program is really about supporting those differences. Not all your employees are carbon copies of each other. So how does your benefit program support their different situations? So when we look at eligibility, you look at how is a spouse defined within the benefit program? What's the definition of a dependent child? So you want to make sure a lot of contracts nowadays do have common law spouses listed, but you know, it's always good to take a look, because sometimes if you haven't looked at your benefit program in a while, it might be a little bit out of date. So you want to take a look at, does your benefit program exclude any kind of families that you might have that aren't that, nuclear family, 2 parents, 2 kids. So a lot of families come in different shapes, different sizes, and so we want to make sure they're all supported. When we look at definitions of dependent children, does this include adopted children? Does this include stepchildren? All these things are really important. Another thing to keep an eye on is especially if you have any kind of employee premium share. So if employees are kicking into the health and dental premium at all, and you have a couple rate, it's really important to take a look at what does couple mean, because is that just supporting an employee in their spouse, or does that also apply to an employee, a single parent with 1 child? If you have employees kicking into that premium, it can be a bit of a tough pill to swallow for a single parent to see their double income colleagues paying less for the same benefit to cover the same number of employees. Some really simple things you can do, just taking a look at your benefit contract, taking a look at those definitions.
When you start talking like that, I sit back as an employer and I think, oh yeah, do we even pay attention to that? Do we even know that? And it's about sitting down and having that conversation with your employees too, to make sure that they feel included, right? Because maybe their family unit is diverse from traditional types of family units, and maybe this gives an opportunity for an employer to sit down with their employees to say, let's talk about this. Let's make sure everybody is included and feels on the same page.
Yeah, so much of it is trying to put yourself in other people's shoes and not make assumptions about what other people need.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, when you run a benefit program, you have a responsibility as well to have more expertise than your employees. So I've run into an interesting scenario recently where I was helping this group out, and they had polled their employees about what they wanted out of a benefit program. And it came back, they wanted flexibility, right? And lots of employees want flexibility right now, which often comes in the form of a spending account. And often spending accounts can be a great way to actually support diversity, equity, and inclusion in a benefit program. But the way they were using it, the spending account formed kind of the major component of their benefit program. Mm-hmm. And because a spending account is maximum is shared between family members, what ended up happening was that their benefit program was supporting single employees to a greater degree than families or couples. So it was the same, they were giving the same benefit, but the same benefit didn't have the same kind of ROI for each individual in their benefit program. So there's a lot of subtlety, there's a lot of complexity, and that sort of situation could have been avoided if there was an extra step taken in saying, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a single employee, a family employee, all these different employees in my population, and think, what does this actually mean for them?
Great information. Absolutely great information.
I know I'm going to kind of be increasing my examples with starting out with things you can do that are free, that don't require any investment, and then working my way up if there is budget to put in additional solutions that will support these strategies. So starting to kind of ramp things up, another great thing that you can do is add something called pharmacogenetics. Typically, this is a benefit inclusion that it does not require a huge investment. I want to say maybe less than $1 per person per month, probably even less than $50 per person per month. But the reason why there's a lot of talk about pharmacogenetics and the reason why it supports diversity in your program is because it's a tool for employees to, especially when it comes to something like a mental health challenge, if they're trying to find the right medication to help them get better. And there's lots of different medications out there that they could be trying, and it's kind of trial and error. This is a tool that can help them get to the right medication earlier and start feeling better sooner and faster. And it's a huge kind of game changer when we talk about mental health.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have to leave it there, Karen. We've been joined by Karen Williamson from the Cowan Group, talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. We're going to have you back again next week, actually, Karen, to talk about it as well. So thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Take care.